What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Do You Have a Moment? I am your host, Stephen Williams, and today I have one question. Do you have time to talk about Red versus... Yeah, we've already been over this again. This is the third Red versus Blue episode. This is part 2 of the last episode where I went into spoilers about the show. So this is what this is going to be continuing. I'm going to continue talking about Red versus Blue. So you know what? Let's just get into it. So the last episode... I talked about the first 10 seasons of Red vs. Blue and the Freelancer saga. And I think I pretty much covered all of it. It was kind of a speed run of it, and I know I had to jump back a couple times because I forgot to mention something. But again, it was a love story. It was truly a love story. A love story about a man who couldn't forget and about a person who was willing to forget. And they were both the same person. Just one was digital and one was a human. And somehow the digital person, Epsilon, the AI fragment based off of the Alpha, who was based off of the director, learned to be more human than the director himself, who ended up ending his own life because he had nothing left, because he pushed himself desperately to try to bring his wife back. And he failed. Crazy Shakespearean stuff. By the way, spoilers again. This is going to be another spoilerific episode for Red vs. Blue. So if you haven't checked out Red vs. Blue and you didn't watch the last episode or you didn't want anything, go watch it. Go watch Red vs. Blue. And I'll actually tell you this. Let me jump in here first. In the first episode of Red vs. Blue that I talked about Red vs. Blue, I said you could go to roosterteeth.com and watch it. Well, I hate to tell you, Rooster Teeth, the company, shut down this year, and I'm going to have a whole episode about the company and what happened and all that stuff. But if you want to watch Red vs. Blue, you still can, because the Internet Archive and the great group of people from the community of Rooster Teeth came together and archived the entire webpage and history of Rooster Teeth. So if you go to rtarchive.org, you can go there and watch all of Red vs. Blue, all of RWBY, all of the videos that Rooster Teeth had ever made over the 21 years. So go check it out and support them and thank them for saving all that stuff, because who knows what the owners of that company, not Rooster Teeth, but the company who owned Rooster Teeth, Warner Media, would have done with all that content. So anyways, back to Red vs. Blue though. So we left off with the very sad thing of Caboose, kind of saying goodbye to Church, because Church went off with Carolina to go do his own adventure, and he said the line where he's like, oh, I don't know, he's just not here right now. A very sweet, kind moment. So season 11 starts with the Reds and Blues, and they're back in kind of a box canyon, kind of similar to Blood Gulch in the first 5 seasons. And it does kind of turn back into a more kind of episodic, funny, just like, Sarge is like, we're trapped in a canyon, we got to start fighting the Blues again. And so they start like doing this Reds versus Blue kind of concept again. But now the leader of Blue Team is Agent Washington. And so he's trying to be a leader, like a leader of an army. And so he's pushing like the team to be like, okay, guys, we need to run drills. We need to do this. We need to do this. And Tucker, Tucker's lazy. He doesn't want to do any of that stuff. He's just like, whatever. And Caboose, he's all sad because Church is gone. His best friend is gone. And he's just so sad about it. And so there's a lot of like discomfort on the Blue side, between each other. Well, the Reds are just like, we're back into this whole mess. And this is where we actually find out that the reason why they're in this box canyon is because the ship that they were on after taking down Project Freelancer, that had all the Freelancer equipment, it was sent by the UNFC, basically crashed on this planet. And they don't know what planet it is. And they're just like, okay, we got to be careful because who knows who else is out there. And again, this season was kind of pretty quick because, again, it's more humor and comedy and stuff like that. But you have some really great moments, like Agent Washington just really trying to figure out how to connect with the Blues and be a leader. And we have this moment where Tucker's just like lashing out at him and like being mad at him. And Washington asks him, he's just like, why are you being so mean? And Tucker says,
all I want to do is stand around and talk to my friend, but he's gone now, and all I've got is you.
And it's like, that's a moment where you're like, oh, Tucker misses Church too. Like he really misses hanging out and just doing nothing with Church like they used to do back in Blood Gulch. And it's like, oh, like both of them miss him. And during this time, Caboose in the wreckage, being all sad, finds a giant mantis droid, like giant killer robot with like guns, like a mech, and he named it Freckles. And it's like he treats it like his dog, like his pet dog, and everyone's like very cautious because they're like, this thing could freaking kill us. Like, Caboose, like, calm down, Caboose, like, it's okay, we're gonna be all right. And he's like, all right, Freckles, like, just do this. I saw a clip from it the other day that just makes me laugh, where they're having a meeting and then they all like leave, and like Caboose does like the dog thing where he's like,
and who wants to go outside? Who wants to go outside? Who wants to go outside?
Freckles, you want to go outside? Outside. Who wants to go outside? Do I want to go outside? Why do I want to go outside? Let's all go outside. Oh my God, we're here.
Freaking Caboose. He's just like such a great character, like so freaking hilarious. But of course, the Reds during this time are terrified of the fact that the Blues now have this giant mech droid, so they're just like trying to sneak aboard the ship and find ammunition to defend themselves from Freckles. And they end up finding their own Mantis droid, and they try to rebuild it, but it kind of doesn't work and falls apart and all this kind of stuff. And during this time, we start seeing like glimpses of other characters. Like there's this other character in orange and this other character in green that are like watching them, watching the Reds and Blues. And we get this moment where the guy in green, who has this really gruff voice, it comes down and he tries to attack the Reds and Blues, and he tells them that they need to surrender, but they actually get saved by the guy in the orange. And so now they got to start talking to the guy in the orange and being like, so what happened? Why were they attacking us? What's going on? And he explains that the planet they landed on is basically a planet that's in civil war. Like there's two sides that are fighting this war, and they've been fighting it for a long time. And he's a mercenary that was hired for the side of the Resistance, and the other guy, the guy in green, was a mercenary that was hired to aid the Republic. And the biggest thing is, like, he explains it where he's like, this planet is so out of the jurisdiction of, like, the UNFC that they don't care. Like, no one cares about these people. No one's coming to save them. No one's coming to help. So I'm just trying to help them out and make sure that the Resistance people can get their city back and their whatever. And he starts becoming close with Washington, but Washington's skeptical of him. And but he helped Washington. And Locus, who's the guy in the green, basically says that he's coming back, in a couple days to basically wipe them all out. So they start getting prepared and all that stuff, and they deal with their feud between the Reds and Blues because their robot goes haywire, who was infected by Lopez 2.0, and they end up blowing it up. They end up destroying it, but then Locus and his army of the Feds attack, and they're fighting them off. And basically what happens here is the Resistance do show up and basically save the Reds and Blues, but not everyone. Washington gets knocked out. Sarge gets knocked out. Donut gets knocked out. So, like, everyone gets knocked out, and they have to retreat. And so, like, they get separated, basically. So the Feds basically take Sarge, Washington, Donut, and Lopez, and Tucker, Caboose, Griff, and Simmons go with the Resistance. So that's basically the setup at the end of Season 11 that leads into Season 12, which is basically very interesting because it's the two sides. So we're following, for the first half of the season, we're really just following Tucker, Caboose, Griff, and Simmons. And the Resistance basically wants them to lead their army because they heard about all the heroic stuff they did against Project Freelancer, and they're like, you're real soldiers. And of course, all of them are just like, no, we're not. We're just a bunch of idiots that kind of just make our way through life. But here is where the character of Tucker really starts becoming bigger, because Tucker, he wasn't a leader, and he's just so frustrated that Church is gone, and he's so sad. But now he's being forced into a leader role. They're telling him that they want him to lead, like, hit the armies and the Resistance. So they go on a mission with Felix. Him and Tucker go on this mission with a couple people, and he starts overhearing people talking about moving the Reds and the Blues. And he's just like, oh, I could sneak away from the mission real quick to go get information on where they're keeping our people. And Felix is like, don't do it. You're going to get people killed. But Tucker does it anyway, and sure enough, it gets a lot of his squad killed. And so now he has that on his conscience, where it's like his decision led to the death of, like, these soldiers and these people. And Tucker even has a moment with Felix, who's the guy in the orange. I keep calling him Felix now. So he's the guy in the orange that helped him, the mercenary. And he's just like, how do you live with it? Like, with making decisions that hurt people? And Felix is just like, you just kind of get used to it. Like, you just got to let it go, because it's just going to hinder you moving forward. And they keep trying to ask Kimball, who's the leader of the Resistance, like, we want to go save our friends. And she's like, no, you can't. Like, if we lose you, we lose this war, and we can't afford to lose you. But Tucker and all of them eventually come together, and they're like, we're just only hurting these people. We just need to leave. And so they leave without saying anything, without saying goodbye. Don't say goodbye, right? I hate goodbyes. And so they leave to go find their guys, and they eventually track down to where they're at. And when they get there, like, this door opens that they break into it, and the camera pans over, and it's Sarge and Washington, all them, and they're like, what, you guys? Hey, what are you guys doing here? And they're like, we're here to save you. And Donut's like, but we're supposed to be saving you. And it's like, cliffhanger, like at the end of that episode. Even Caboose does it. He goes, bum, bum, bum. And then it comes to black, and you just hear him go, cliffhanger. It's just like, And so what you find out so then we kind of get the next episode where we see where what happened to Washington and all them, and they were brought to the feds, and they kind of got the same story that the Reds and Blues that went with the resistance got, where it's like the federal army is being led by this guy Donald Doyle, who is literally not even a soldier. He was just like a random guy who helped the old leaders, but after all the old leaders got wiped out in this war, he was like put in charge, and he hired Locus, who's the other mercenary, to go get the Reds and Blues. We learn all that, but then they basically get told that they need to go save their friends from the resistance. So they kind of, both sides are telling them that they got to go save the other people. And they hear the stories about like how all the other leaders got wiped out and they got killed, and negotiations and peace talks and all that stuff that were traps and all this madness. And so I think you're kind of starting to see where this is going to go. So the Reds and Blues meet up with each other, and they're like, well, we got to meet with the two leaders. We got to meet with Doyle and Kimball and explain that this is all just a misunderstanding. This war needs to end. And then all of a sudden they start getting attacked. Like all of the feds that are there start getting attacked by some mysterious person. And they're just like, what's going on? What's going on? And it eventually gets revealed that Locus has like a group of like soldiers that work for him that are all in black, that are Black Ops soldiers basically. And he's wiping everyone out because now the Reds and Blues know the truth. They found out the truth that both sides are this. And it's like, okay, so Locus is a bad guy. He was just pretending to be good. And at this point, he's like, I'm going to kill you, Agent Washington. And he's about to shoot him, and he shoots him, and Felix jumps out of nowhere again, kind of like he did in the first season, and blocks the bullet. And Tucker has a grenade behind his back. He's like, Tucker, give me the grenade. And Tucker throws the grenade to him, and then he just like stops, and he goes, that was close. Nice throw, Tucker. And there's Washington, he goes,
how many times have I jumped in front of a bullet for you, Wash? 3? Those are some pretty great reflexes, huh? Most people would have to plan that sort of thing.
And it's like, oh no. And sure enough, he's like just helping out an old friend, and he throws the grenade up to Locus. And so you realize, oh no, they've been working together this whole time to create the Civil War. No! It's like, and you start having like flashbacks of like the stories that were told to them, like from Kimball and stuff like that. They fought in the Great War together, and they were mercenaries, and they kind of separated because they had different ideas. But no, that was all a ploy. Because Locus is like the gruff, like get done. Oh, sorry, my language. Bleep that out. Get stuff done. And Felix was like a smooth talker, man with a silver tongue that could basically just convince anyone that he's the noble hero, when really he's just been deceiving them this whole time and leading people to death. So now he wants to kill the Reds and Blues because they know the truth and they can't reveal the truth. And he actually spills the beans of what their plan is, because he's like, I had to deal with these Reds and Blues for so long, so I'm just going to tell them what we're doing because we're going to kill them anyways. And he tells them that some person out there, some employer, has an eye on the planet because it has a lot of alien artifacts in it. And they want the planet for themselves, but they can't just come down here and take it because that would be seen as like bad. You can't just like bring a military in just to steal stuff from a planet. And so this planet already had a lot of like political problems with each other. And so basically all Felix and Locus were hired to do was come down and basically get that civil war going, like worse and worse and worse, in hopes that the two sides basically would wipe each other out, and then that organization could come in and mine the planet for artifacts. And so it's like, oh my God, like these guys are just trying to basically get this planet to commit genocide on themselves just so they can come harvest stuff, and they're getting paid to do it. It's like, oh my Lord, that's so dark. And we go in, and that gets all revealed. And then of course they get saved because someone hiding inside of Locus's group actually ends up being Agent Carolina. She's been tracking down this corporation that's trying to do all this stuff, and she saves the Reds and Blues. They get away. Church comes back, and Tucker just, as soon as he sees Church, he throws his gun down and he goes, "You," says the F word, and he just like tries to tackle him, but of course he's a hologram, so he just goes right through it. And for the next like handful of episodes, he's just talking about how much he's so mad at Church because he's like, you left us, you didn't say bye, you didn't do this, like, and he's just like so angry. And so they go on a couple more missions trying to figure out now how to stop Locus and Felix, but they can't go back to the capitals because Locus and Felix now are like watching those heavily. And through this time, Church and Tucker are getting really mad at each other, and Tucker even ends a mission early, which screws up like, you know, what they were looking for, the manifest of the ship, to figure out who was like where the equipment was going and all this stuff. And so they get mad at each other, but eventually Caboose is actually the one who talks sense into Tucker, where he's like, he gives an emotional speech, but in the most Caboose way possible. He's like, if you just keep being mad to Church, he'll just keep being mad to you. and then everyone will be mad at each other, and then everyone will be sad. And he's like, and that's just stupid. And you're stupid for thinking that you just want to keep being mad forever. So what if Church left? He did because he thought he was doing the right thing. And that sometimes that's all it takes to forgive someone. He's like,
So shut up and get over it! Well, my work is done here.
and he just walks off, and they're just like, everyone's just like, wow, like he actually made a lot of sense with that. And so Tucker and Church make up. And then at the end of the season, they have a showdown with Locus and Felix, and they end up getting a message out to the two armies that are about to meet each other and reveal that Felix and Locus have been playing them this whole time. And they figure out who the company is that hired them. And it's actually none other than Charon Industries, who's led by the chancellor of the oversight committee that shut down Project Freelancer. Remember in the last episode, I talked about like the beginning of episode 6, the season 6 episodes, where there was a conversation going back and forth between them. Hargrove was the other person opposite of the director, and he's the one who runs this military organization that wants the alien artifacts. So he's the one who set all this up. So again, connecting it to older seasons is just like so well done. And so that's how that season ends, is the reveal that Hargrove is behind everything. So then season 13, this is like the episode, because now the two sides are back together, but they're still conflicted. Like Kimball doesn't trust Doyle, and Doyle doesn't trust Kimball, and the Reds and Blues are still trying to lead the armies, but they know that they're about to be hunted down. Locus and Felix actually got away, and they actually got a prison ship full of prisoners and recruited all of them to be an army for them now, to basically kill everyone on the planet. And this whole season just goes a lot of back and forth of just learning different stuff about characters evolving and all this, and it's such a great season. But the biggest thing is that, again, Tucker and Church is slowly learning to become closer to each other, but Carolina is trying to use Church to run her equipment. She's basically doing what the Meadow is doing, where she's getting all the old equipment of Project Freelancer and using it to enhance her armor so that she'll be ready for the big fight. But it's becoming more of a strain on Epsilon, because he's just one AI, and he's like, I'm only supposed to I can only run like one thing at a time, and you're making me run all of this stuff. Like, I can't do that. And so they're having their own little conflict there. But eventually, Locus and Felix, they attack the main city. They're trying to take it all out. And the plan is that they're going to blow up the city. They're going to blow up the reactor with all of the enemies in the city. They're going to evacuate, draw the enemies in, blow up the city, and wipe them all out. And Doyle decides to stay behind. Oh, I forgot this part too. The alien artifacts that they find, there's one artifact that activates kind of like a halo ring, where it wipes out all life on the planet. But in order to activate it, they need a sword or a key. And the key is the energy sword from Halo. And back in season 3 of the original Red vs. Blue, Tucker got his hand on the sword, but the sword was also said it was a key for unlocking alien artifacts. And so they actually bring that story back around in season 13, where they need a sword themselves. And so they can't take Tucker's because he's in the city. And so they actually find out that there's another temple that has another key. So each planet has a key on it that has the alien artifacts. But Doyle gets there first, and when you pick up the sword, it actually engraves to your DNA, so you're the only one who can wield the sword until you die. Once you die, then another person can wield the sword. So Doyle binds his DNA to it, but then he gives it to Felix, and Felix can't activate it, and he's frustrated, so they're like, we need to kill Doyle. So that's why they attack the city, is to go in and kill Doyle. Well, Doyle knows that he's the only thing that they need, and so he actually lures them to the reactor, like to the center of the thing, and he's about to set it off, set off the reactor and then get to the Pelican and take off. Well, when he's about to set off the reactor, the pirates get in there, or the bad guys get in there, and they shoot the console, and it blows it up, so he can't trigger it remotely anymore. So he's like, shoot. And so he actually stays behind. And after being nobody and being an idiot, and Kimball seeing him as useless and seeing him all this stuff, he actually does a heroic thing and sacrifices himself. So he blows up the reactor himself. And yeah, that allows Felix to get the sword, but it blows up like most of their army. So it's like kind of win-loss situation. And from here, now it's a race to the temple. So they're just like, we need to stop them from getting to the temple. They have the sword. They can basically activate the temple, and it will kill all life on this planet. And so the freelancers go after that, while the other guys go after the communications tower, so they can use this alien communication tower to send a signal to outside the planet to the UNFC to say, hey, we need help, come save us. Hargrove he works for your military, but he's a bad guy, and he's like doing this terrible thing to this planet. And so you get this great fight scene between Locus, Felix, Carolina, and Washington. And they just keep fighting. And of course, Felix is getting flustered and frustrated. And he's just like, if you could just die already. And it's like, no, we just need to waste your time. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, look, we don't need to defeat you. We just need to waste your time. And they're like, and Epsilon is just like, oh yeah, you guys already lost. And he's like, when? He's like, when Donald Doyle blew up half of your army and left your bases exposed. And so they actually go to the base, which I forgot to mention this part. The reason why the ship crashed in season 11 was because they used an alien thing to pull it down. And so they used that same alien thing. The good guys now use the alien tractor beam to pull down the ship that Locus and Felix took over and crash it into the tower that's supposed to activate to kill the whole planet. So they just distracted them long enough so that they could pull that ship down to blow everything up. So they blow everything up. They get to the Locus and Felix are presumed dead. They get to the tower to release the communication. They get up there, and they are about ready to release the communication to the world to say, like, Hargrove's evil. Come save us. We need help. And Locus and Felix show back up. And at this point, Felix is he's no longer the silver-tongued, like, cocky guy anymore. He's just mad. And he just wants to kill the Reds and Blues. He's given up, but he just wants them dead for himself. Like he says,
I'm not doing this for Hargrove. I'm doing this for me.
Locus is like, he's beaten. He's in the last season and a half, he's been slowly seeing like how terrible he's been and watching Felix delve into this monster, this horrible person. Like he's starting to second guess himself as well. And so Felix goes and attacks the Reds and Blues, but they beat him up, and he's just getting so flustered about just being beaten by a bunch of idiots, even to the point where I'll have to set up this joke a little bit. How much time do I have? I have 8 minutes left. He has to set up this joke where with Caboose, where Freckles, the big mantis droid that he had, after he got decommissioned, they gave him like his AI chip, and they actually put it into Caboose's gun, so Freckles now controls Caboose's gun. But because they didn't trust Caboose with the gun, they make it so when Caboose pulls the trigger, it just shoots confetti and makes a party noise like it's so stupid. But it's typical Caboose. They're like, put Freckles in charge of the gun. He's an AI. He knows what he's doing. Caboose, he just shoots confetti whenever he pulls the trigger. And so in the final fight against Felix, he gets the jump on Caboose, and he knocks Caboose down, and he takes Caboose's gun, and he's like, say goodbye to your blue friend. And he pulls the trigger and goes, and he just like looks at it. He's like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Like, he's just getting so frustrated with that the Reds and the Blues are beating him, and they're just this group of ragtag idiots. And, so they eventually corner him, and he's like, oh, no, Locus can sneak up behind him and kill him. But Locus throws his gun down to Felix, and he's like, no more fighting. He's like, I'm a monster like you. Like, he finally sees the reflection of himself in Felix, and he's like, I am a monster. And he's like, you need to, like, what about our reward? Like, becoming the strongest weapon. And Locus says the same line that he said to him. He's like,
I'm not doing this for the reward. I'm not doing this because someone told me to. I'm doing this for me.
So Locus turns on Felix, and so Felix tries to kill them all, but then they all kind of team up, and Tucker, again with a grenade, catches Felix off guard and goes, hey Felix, catch, and he throws the grenade and it blows Felix off the edge, killing him. So, and then Locus, he basically is just like, I can never forgive for what I did, but, I'm just going to go out and find my own answers. And so he disappears and he runs off too. So the Reds and Blues, they give out their signal to the galaxy and expose Hargrove. So now Hargrove's like, all right, well, I have nothing less to lose. So he comes to the planet himself with his army of like droids and soldiers and all this stuff. And he's just ready to just kill everyone because he's like, if I'm going down, I'm taking you all with me. So now the Reds and Blues are like, we need to save the people on the planet by stopping that ship and stopping Hargrove and his droids and all that. So they go on to the ship. And here they run into Phyllis, the old AI from Project Freelancer 2. And she's like, I will gladly help you. She's like, I don't like the Chancellor. He's mean. And so, like, she helps them, like, get through it and leads them to the main chamber of the Staff of Charon, his ship, so that they can shut off the droids. And in this moment, this is where it leads to one of the best endings ever. And this is why was labeled as, like, the definitive end of Red versus Blue. So they go in, Tucker and Church, and they shut down the Mantis droids, and of course Charon appears on the images, or Hargrove appears on the images, and he's just like, you're never leaving this ship. You might save the freelancers, you might save the residents of this planet, but you are not leaving this ship. And sure enough, after they shut off the message with Hargrove, the Reds and Blues come in from the hallway outside because they were holding off the soldiers that were coming at them. And they're like, oh, I don't think that's a good exit anymore. And so Church is like, Carolina, we need an extraction. And Carolina's like, I'll be there in a few minutes. But then they start like cutting the door open. And Simmons is like, we may not have a few minutes. And then Sarge does his classic line where he's like, well, gentlemen, you know what they say. Today is a good day to die. And then Griff's like, permission to speak freely, sir? Speak freely, sir? F that. And they're like, heh. So they start getting ready for like the final fight. Like, this is our last stand. And Tucker asks Church, he's like, oh, we got this. I mean, we do got this, right? And Church is like, oh, yeah, I keep running it through my head and we're close, but no, there's still one thing we're missing. And Hargrove, earlier this season, actually got the old meta suit, the Agent Main suit, and had been modifying it to be like a super soldier suit with like all the modifications and all that stuff. But because they're in that room where the suit was being held, Church saw it on the registry, and he's like, Phyllis, the suit, and the suit comes up, and they're like, what the heck? And he's just like, I saw it when I logged into the terminal. It's got everything we need. And he goes, Tucker, take off your helmet. And then it cuts to the next scene, and Tucker is wearing the meta armor with his sword, looking all bad, in front of all the Reds and Blues who are all standing behind him. He has now become the true leader of the Red and Blues. And it's just this beautiful moment. This really sad melody starts playing, and everyone's kind of just saying their byes to each other. It's like, looks like this is it. And it's like, sir, it's been an honor. Lopez is like, if I die, recycle my parts because he's a robot. And even Church says, he's like, oh, I just want to let you all know, out of everyone I've ever met, I hate you all the least. And Tucker's like, see you on the other side, Church. And all of a sudden, time like slows down and freezes. And we've seen this earlier in this season where Church, because he's an AI, he processes so fast that it's almost like time has stopped for him. And with his argument with Carolina that he can't run so many things at once, it's the same with this suit. And so he's like, not today, buddy. And his memory of all the other AI fragments are there, and he's kind of talking to him. He's like, start a recording for me, D. And that leads to one of the saddest, most emotional moments, because he's like, if you're hearing this message, it means you did it. You won. You kicked out of Hargrove's forces. I knew you could. But this is my last stop. And it's like, oh no. It's like Church is going to kill himself, like, to save them. And he's like, when I came to this world, I was really just the collection of someone else's memories, but with your help, my memories took form. They became my voice, my personality, and I started to develop memories of my own. All these things are what make me who I am, but they're also holding me back. I can't run this suit as Epsilon. But, he goes, if I erase my memories and if I deconstruct myself, the fragments I leave behind will have the strength to get you through this. So, because of his memories of Project Freelancer and of all the AIs and all that stuff, he basically rebuilt everything back in his memory of all the AIs and all of that stuff, basically turning Epsilon into the Alpha. He was now the central part of all the AI fragments. He was the new Alpha. What Sigma was trying to achieve, Epsilon achieved. Sigma was told he couldn't ever achieve it because he was a fragment, and yet Epsilon as a fragment became the Alpha. So not only did Epsilon become more human than Director by letting go of his past, he also did what Sigma never could and united everyone, becoming the new Alpha in this moment. And not only that, he reached metastability because he's willing to sacrifice himself to save his friends, which is a very human thing, which is what Sigma wanted to be, and Epsilon achieved that. Everything comes around full circle in this show. It's beautiful. I only have a minute left in this episode, so I gotta wrap this up. Basically, he says his goodbyes. He says he's gonna sacrifice himself, and he tells this story about how all brave heroes never get to see their if their sacrifice actually saved the day. And the last lines he has is,
In the end, they just have to have faith. Ain't that a bitch?
and then the credits roll. And they left the show on that, never knowing the outcome if the Reds and Blues survived. And people actually like that ending because after Red versus Blue, seeing them all united against a common enemy for a fight not related to them was a beautiful way to end it. And that's the ending of season 13. Beautiful storytelling, beautiful story writing. I got to wrap this up, guys. Thank you for watching this episode of Do You Have a Moment? I might need to come back for a third one for Red versus Blue to tell about the rest of the season. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.